Good morning, grade 12. Welcome to today's LO lesson. My name is Pulen Niziga and I'm your LO teacher for the duration of the lockdown. On my screen are my contact details, rather my email address. It is lizikapuleng@yahoo.com. Lizika is my surname, Puleng is my name, and that is in small letters, and it's at yahoo.com. So that is where you can contact me with any questions about LO, or if you need any clarity or anything really that you want to speak to me about. That is where you can contact me, and that is my email address. So yesterday we were doing unit 1 of chapter 7. So today we are doing unit 2 of chapter 7. So the role of media in a democratic society, electronic and print media. So that is the heading of the chapter 7. So we're just basically continuing from yesterday. So the lesson objectives for today are that you must know the constitutional limitations to freedom of expression. Remember, yesterday we started with freedom of expression. So today we're going to do the limitations, but then I'll give you a bit of a recap on the freedom of expression so that we can do the limitations properly. And then you must know the Bill of Rights, and then you must know the coverage of sport and sports personalities and recreation activities. So let's start first with what constitutes freedom of expression rather. Freedom, everyone has the freedom of expression, which includes, so this is us, citizens of South Africa, this is what we have the right to. We have the right to freedom of expression. So this is in freedom of press and other media. So this is the right for television, radio, magazines, newspapers to exist, to function in the country and to operate in the country, and other forms of media too, like WhatsApp, social media, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. So there are countries where they don't really allow this freedom of being on social media. They will like tap into social media. Like I think I mentioned yesterday that in some countries when they are protesting, all of a sudden their social media doesn't work. Now they can't access Facebook anymore, or they can't use their WhatsApp anymore because the government doesn't want them to communicate or take photos and post them on social media. So in our country, we are allowed to have press, to speak our minds, and to just put what we have out there, and we are allowed to share information, to share pictures, to share videos, and whatever we want to share. Then the freedom to receive. So this is the freedom to receive information and to impact information or ideas. So basically, this is more on your side, that this is your freedom to get information. This is your freedom for you to know what is going on around you. Maybe the person that must give you the information also has the responsibility to be transparent so that you can get news that is fair and that is honest. So to impact information, so this is you taking part on impacting the information or ideas. So you are contributing to the ideas and the concepts that are out there. So you're not just passive with regards to your freedom of expression. You're also interacting, and you're also participating in your freedom of expression. I keep on saying freedom of media. So freedom of artistic creativity. So this is the freedom to imagine, create, and distribute diverse cultural expressions free of government censorship, political interference, or the pressures of non-state actors. So this is your freedom to imagine and to create. So this is about the creative people, the artists, people who are in the industry, who are in the arts. So they have the freedom to imagine and to create. And I can imagine everybody else. You don't have to be very talented, but you should have the freedom to create however you want to. So, and to distribute diverse cultural expressions. So, this is arts going on around, cultural things being passed on between us and amongst us, free of government censorship. So the government shouldn't have to censor any form of art or any form of expression or any form of creativity. I know in some countries they'll stop concerts. Like I know that Rihanna had to go somewhere to perform and then they stopped her, they blocked her from getting into that country, meaning that country doesn't have freedom of artistic creativity, or rather, they'll say that this artist can't come and perform here because they don't dress properly or we don't like the message behind their songs. I know there are some some countries where they said people like Bob Marley can't come and perform here because we don't like what he stands for. Even that, we don't even like his dreadlocks, or we don't like him singing freedom songs or whatever. So there are countries that don't have the freedom of artistic creativity. Like people can't express themselves in the way they want to, and then political interference. So this is the government interfering in the arts or the pressures of non-state actors. So these are normal people, maybe capital, maybe people who influence things, like maybe the private sector will say, we don't actually agree with the direction this industry or the art industry is taking. So we, as people who hold capital, we think that this is the direction that things should go. So this is an example of a stakeholder deciding on the freedoms of the artists on what they can or what they can't do. And then academic freedom and freedom of scientific research. So academic freedom is, your academics are your people with masters and PhDs, or people who aspire to be academics. Maybe you only have your honors, or you only doing your honors and you aspire to go further. So this is the freedom of you to research whatever you want to. So the freedom of scientific research to go into the field and to research on whatever you want. So I know there are some countries don't that prohibit their scientists from studying certain, like in certain fields, like they'll tell you you can't do research in anatomy or research in physiology, because they don't like maybe what you're going to find out, or maybe they have some state information that they are keeping and they don't want anyone to do research in that area. I'm not going to get too much into that, but we're seeing the rights of scientific freedom a lot now in COVID-19 times, because a lot of countries are now involved in doing research of getting a vaccine for COVID-19, something that we can prevent the virus from spreading or from getting infected, and then we also looking for something that can cure the virus. So a lot of countries are now having to maybe review the restrictions on what they've allowed their scientists to do. So if you are a country that wasn't really allowing scientific research, then you're obviously going to fall a bit behind. So every country that did embrace the freedom of scientific research will usually be a country that leads also in research. So yeah, there are countries who are busy trying to find a vaccine or a cure for COVID-19, and that is what scientific research is. These are going to be a scientist or your biochemist, people who study chemistry and biomedical science. Those are the people who are busy right now, and they have their freedom to do so. So now that we've recapped on the freedoms of expression, now we're going to look at the limitations to the freedom of expression. So in section 16 contains the following limitations to freedom of expression. The right in subsection 1 does not include the following. All right, let me check over here. All right. Okay, I was just checking the chat box quickly. All right. The constitutional limitations to freedom of expression. So, a limitation to freedom of expression is propaganda for war. So, this is if any form of media, whether it's traditional or a new form of media, whether it's radio, TV, a magazine, or social media, if they propagate for war, if they usually when you spread propaganda, you're spreading a lie or you're spreading rumor or whatever. The information you're giving is one directional, like you're not giving both sides of the story. So maybe the person who is at war with the other, you don't try to bring a balance, or you don't try to make peace between two factions. You're going to side with the person that is causing the war. So you might romanticize the war, or you make it about. Usually how you do it is that you will spread lies, you'll be one directional, you'll romanticize the war, you'll do things like saying that the war is for pride, is patriotism, and you'll encourage young men to go and defend the country and say, "Oh, you're doing so well. You're making the country proud." So you'll be using words like patriotic, like national pride, like South African pride, or whatever, or South Africa first, or whatever you will be doing, but this will be encouraging war. And then the second one is your limitation is incitement of imminent violence. So there is already violence, and then what you're gonna do is you're going to now make it worse. So you make it worse by maybe uh, um, encouraging it in the same way that you would encourage war. So the false information that is already there, you are basically going to not challenge the false information. You're going to continue spreading the false information. So let's say I'm going to make an example with xenophobia. In the country, we have had problems with xenophobia. So what you're going to do is, let's say people saying uh, the reason why we are being xenophobic or carrying out xenophobic attacks is because our women are getting taken and our jobs are getting taken and we don't have enough money for food and foreigners are providing for cheap labor. If you're going to have an article, then that says, or that covers a story that says a woman from East Africa says she's happy with her two husbands from these countries, and then she says that the South African man doesn't keep them happy. Like basically, you presenting one person's story and you're not giving both sides of the story. You're applying a blanket statement. So maybe you'll have a headline like South African women say they're unhappy with South African men. They would rather have relationships with men from outside the country, maybe because they take care of them and maybe because they make them feel loved. But really, do all South African women feel like that? Can you apply a blanket statement? Can you generalize? Can you just say, have an article maybe saying all South Africans are lazy? That is why or foreigners are getting hired. Can you really have articles like that? Because you're then inciting violence. Because now you're saying to people, yeah, our jobs are being taken without maybe seeing that maybe some of the foreigners that are here aren't really, not a lot of them are actually maybe in the workspace. Some of them are opening small businesses like tuck shops, hair salons, selling fruits and vegetables. And the ones who are in the job space are maybe doing things like domestic work and whatever. So basically when you incite war you perpetuate stereotypes even. So the examples that I just made, just to make it clear, are like when you perpetuate stereotypes, you are not correcting what is going out there, but you're just perpetuating it, you're repeating it as it is without challenging that line of thought, or without challenging uh, whatever the stereotype is. So you are going to encourage or to support a statement instead of correcting it and say, come, let's look at it in another way. Everybody has the right to have a relationship with whoever they are because they have their own reasons and they might just be in love. It doesn't mean that now our women are being um, taken away. So also this might say that as the media, we must like have the responsibility of informing or take the opportunity to educate people. So when we see that the line of thinking is going in the wrong way, or people are thinking in a way that's regressive, then we need to bring people on point and bring them back to their understanding so that they understand things correctly. Again, as the media, you want to be people that are in line with the constitution. You know the rights of people, you know your bill of rights, you know your constitutional rights. So you should be the ones to remind people of everyone's constitutional rights, that people do have the right to be protected inside the country if they are running away from wars, or they are refugees, or they've come here to seek work, and because there is no, the economy where they come from uh is not like good like ours. So yeah, I hope I explained it well. I hope everyone is happy. So bullet point number 3: advocacy of hatred that is based on race, ethnicity, gender, or religion. So basically, you will be supporting racism. You'll be supporting ethnicity or tribalism. You'll be supporting gender. Maybe you are going to support gender stereotypes. You are going to be supporting patriarchy or religion. Maybe you won't be fair. You'll just cover one side of the story. You won't take another, you won't consider someone else's side of the story. So some of these things are just simple, like someone calling you, giving you a story and saying, this Zulu man came and smashed my car. So you are not going to say back as the journalist, is it about the crime that this person smashed your car? Or are you just going to point it out that this person is from this ethnic group? It could have been from any ethnic group. It could have been a Tswana or Sotho man smashing your car. So it's about the crime and not really about what ethnic group that person comes from. So you're not going to advocate or encourage people to have tribalistic thoughts and tribalism and behave in a way that encourages tribalism. And then gender, you're going to ensure that you're just fair. You're not going to only push a feminist agenda, or you're not going to carry on with patriarchal thoughts or lines of thinking. So it's just about being fair. It's as simple as I give you a call and I give you a story what about bullying. So before you publish the story, you are going to call bullying and ask her, bullying, what is your opinion? And then if I decline to give you my opinion, you will have it there. Bullying has declined to give me her side of the story. So that would be it for this slide. Moving on to the next slide. This means that you have the freedom of speech. So it means you also have the freedom to say what you want to say. So no one must silence you. You have a voice. Everyone has a voice. You have to know that you have a voice. So it's not just rich people who have a voice. It's not that it's not just people from a certain class who have a voice, maybe a higher class. You're not too poor to speak out. You're not it's not that people from lower incomes can't speak. You can't say, I'm a child, I'm 18, I can't speak on my own behalf, I can't give my opinion. You're already 18 this year, you're in matric, you are going to vote probably for the first time in the elections. I think the municipal elections, the local municipality elections, our local elections are coming next year, if I'm right. So that will be your first time voting. So that is like where you can exercise your freedom too. So freedom of speech will be your right to say whatever you want to say and to speak out. You're not too young, you're never too old. It's not about the kind of school you went to. It's not about where you live. If you come from a township, you can't say anything. Or even coming from a suburb, no one must say, you grew up in the suburbs, so what do you know about life? What do you know about hardship? No, you do also have a voice and you have your own opinion, and you can also just share with us about your own life. Everyone has a story to tell. We don't all experience things in the same way, and we can all contribute towards the bigger picture. So, but we cannot use hate speech. So, hate speech would be calling people names. There are words that you can't use, like in the country, you know that you can't call maybe African people the names that they used to get called in apartheid. You also can't call our Indian South Africans in a name that is derogatory, that was also used a long time ago. You can't now name call people, body shame, or just say things that perpetuate violence or incite violence violent violence. So basically, you need to make sure that you're responsible in whatever you say, that you're fair, you're honest, and that if you didn't see something happen, you shouldn't speak about it like you were there. So again, that's not spreading lies and rumors. So that is it. You cannot use racist language, okay, I just cover it, or discriminate against anyone. You cannot encourage people to in violent acts or hurt or hate others. So you can't encourage xenophobic attacks. You can't encourage things like racism. Maybe let's march against um, this minority group. We don't want them because they are not originally South African. They are originally coming from another part of the country, so they should go back where they come from. We can't be encouraging hate or just being hurtful to other people. We're all South Africans. If you were born here, then you are South African and you should stay here and be able to be comfortable here without being told to go to get on a boat and just go back where you come from or whatever. So we should get used to the idea of embracing each other and living with each other harmoniously. So the media may not publicize and distribute anything that is of criminal nature or that can damage or harm people. So this is maybe false evidence, maybe someone is spreading false information, you can't now publicize it. Sometimes you try to expose something, but then it just backfires and people take it as if that what you publicize is the correct information. So you don't always have to put everything out there. If you've got like a, a letter saying this person was maybe held in a police jail cell for not paying maintenance. I'll just make an example. And then maybe you don't know there was a confusion with maybe the other parent that they had already settled the matter, and then you run the story, and then basically you find that maybe the judge will judge on behalf of this parent that was in jail. So what you've done is you have already passed on information, you shared information that can damage the child or harm the child's well-being, because when you put information out about the maintenance battle. And I know it seems like I'm making a far-fetched example, but it's not, because that's what we've been seeing. We've been seeing maybe maintenance battles and personal battles coming out into the media, people's divorces and stuff. These things harm people, and these are things that we probably shouldn't distribute. They're like gossip or tabloid type of material, so criminal in nature. We should see also how we present people in the media, like judging someone or posting them or writing about them as if they've already been found guilty, even though they haven't yet been found guilty. So we are therefore assassinating that person's character. So yes, and then the protection of state information bill. So we know that there is state information. There are things that should be kept secret, that only the government knows, and that people shouldn't know. I mean, that's how it works. That's how it's worked for the longest time in our countries and in the history of states. So there is information that the state feels that maybe whilst they're working on something, it shouldn't be exposed to the public, because maybe it might not be helpful at that time for the public to know. So this bill is known as the secrecy bill because it proposes long jail sentences for journalists or whistleblowers, a person who reports illegal or immoral activities, or anyone who makes state secrets public. State secrets include information that the general public and other countries do not need to know. Example, the size of an army and the number of weapons. So these are just things that the state doesn't want people to know, the things that they are keeping private and are keeping to themselves. Maybe whether the president is going to extend the lockdown or not. Maybe they would like for everyone to find out at the same time. If it's at 7 o'clock that the president is going to make a speech and tell us that we are going down to level 4 or level 3, then they don't expect one person to now go out and tell the rest of the country what is going to be said, what the president is going to say before time. So it remains a secret, a state secret, until it is addressed, until he stands there and lets everybody know officially. So yeah, some things are kept just so that it is fair for everyone. And when you leak information, then there is a certain sector of society that knows something, then everybody else doesn't know that. So then it creates inequality. And then the coverage of sports personalities and recreation activities. So basically, we know our sports personalities. We know people like Sia Khaleesi, Caster Semenya. We have like people who are doing well with regards to sports, like Percy Tau. Those are people who we've exported and are playing overseas. Those are our personalities. So they are covered, and we're going to look at how they're covered and why they're covered. Basically, what does the bill say about sports coverage? So coverage of sports, sports personalities, and recreational activities varies in media. The media tends to focus on the five big sports in South Africa, namely men's soccer, rugby, cricket, golf, and motor racing. So, meaning our media has just traditionally focused on a whole lot of soccer, a whole lot of rugby, a whole lot of cricket, golf, and motor racing, and more particularly the men's side. So we never really got to watch the ladies soccer until like maybe recently, I think in the beginning of this year. And now that there was a lockdown, so we never really got to see the ladies rugby team and the ladies cricket team. I still think that we're not seeing enough of them, or that we're going to see enough of them even in the nearby future. We just need to keep on speaking out and advocating for it so that all sports can be equal. So we need to start maybe getting to see more basketball, more hockey, more swimming, and other sports. Maybe they should also get enough coverage. So, and we should also see more women, maybe more young people taking part in sports so that everything is equal in our country and everyone will feel represented. And just so that we can grow every single sport the way that it needs to grow, and that every sport can receive its equal attention. So let me check the chat box. I see someone might be saying something. Okay, I've got 15 minutes left. All right. And then sportsmen dominate the sports media over sportswomen who struggle to get media coverage. So that is something that I just spoke about, that sportsmen do have more coverage than sportswomen, and they get less coverage. So moving on to our next slide, I think we might be done even. Okay, oh, not yet. Last slide. The role and responsibility of the media in a democratic society includes being fair, honest, and reliable. Freedom of expression comes with the responsibility to use this freedom with care and to take note of the limitations of this freedom. Freedom of expression and limitations. Freedom of expression has limitations. People may not express viewpoints that violate the rights of others. So, this is what we've been saying, that when you express your freedom, you should make sure that you're not violating the rights of others. So, that will come with familiarizing yourself with the rights that you have by holding your constitution, having a copy of your constitution, knowing what the rights are, and then just basically knowing that you can't expect to practice those very rights and want someone to respect them, yet you disrespect someone else's rights, and you don't necessarily afford people the opportunity to live out their rights. So the activity that you can do for yourself, just so that you remember what we've done, is what are the limitations to freedom of expression. So can you please do something for me, grade 12, before you leave? I don't think we're going to have enough time to put it in the chat box. But can you please email me? Please email me. Or right now you can, I don't know how many minutes we've got left. Can you please just let me know what you want me to cover? The chapters that you want me to cover. Let me just try to go back to the page that we've got on my email so that you can see it. Okay, this is my email address. If there's anything that you want me to cover, anything that you don't understand, any of the chapters that you want me to cover, please make sure that you can tell me now in the chat box because I think we have a few minutes to go so that we can discuss them. If there's anything that you want us to recap on, we still have to do Unit 3 on Monday. So if there's any of the chapters that you want me to recap on, you can use the chat box right now to tell me. Or if you don't have it now, then you can definitely email it to me and tell me what you want me to cover. All right. I hope you will be okay with that because I'm done with the lesson. Okay, let me see, Carl. Ma'am, with the right to privacy, do you think the first person that had the corona in SA has the privacy to keep their name private? Okay, this is going to be my opinion. I'm going to answer you now, Henry. I think as a patient, any patient, if it was corona, if it is corona, or if it's not corona, whatever it is, if it's a normal patient, if you are a normal patient suffering from diabetes or high blood, you know you have your file in hospital. I don't think anyone has the right to come and open your file if it's not a doctor or nurse and just read up on your information and say, oh, this person is here, they're lying down here sick because they have um, pneumonia or they have TB or whatever. We have always had the right to keep our health information and whatever we're suffering from as a secret, not necessarily a secret, but maybe something you want to keep it to yourself and you don't want to share. So for me, if you don't want to share your that you have cancer or you don't want to share that you have an STI, then I don't think someone who has contracted corona has to be forced to share his name or has to be forced to tell other people that he has corona. But one thing that he has his right to privacy. That's what I'm saying. This is my opinion. The person who is supposed to contract corona has his right to privacy. At the same time, he has a responsibility to not spread it. So he must do his side. If he's not going to tell anyone or she's not going to tell anyone, then they have the responsibility to self-isolate, to social distance, to either go to the hospital. Obviously, our hospitals that have been set aside for corona, and they must stay there, get tested, stay there, and get treatment until you have recovered. Until the doctor says you are well, or if they send you home to go medicate at home, to go get well at home. Social distance and don't put other people at risk of contracting the virus. So if you want to stay private but then want to endanger other people and not protect them from getting the virus, then that is a mistake on your behalf. But if you just want to maybe protect your family, you've got children, maybe the reasons are not just so that people don't know your business, they just that you want to protect the people around you, your family, your children from maybe the media and people invading their personal space. Maybe someone who wants to come and take a photo of you and will come and stand in front of your house or whatever. So we do have people doing weird things once they find out who a person is. So that person for me, if I contract anything, I would like to be afforded the right to decide whether I want to tell someone about something or not. So I wouldn't want to be told that you are forced to let people know what's going on. So in the same way, I have the responsibility to make sure that someone else does not contract whatever I have by me being irresponsible, by going out knowing that I'm positive and shopping, going to the mall, going to see my friends, going to a party, going to a funeral. In that way, I'm not being responsible. I'm not taking care of other people. So that's just me. I think I've balanced it out. So I hope that is okay. So anybody else have anything to say? We've got 5 minutes left. All right. Is everybody else okay? Everybody else okay? All right. Thank you very much. See you on Monday at 10 o'clock. Goodbye then. Thank you. Thank you, Lucidi. So good. Pleasure. Pleasure, Carl.